Okay, and as always, before we get started with the video, I don't own rights to the background noise or watching TV. Not trying to sell anything or any of that neat stuff. But I had some on my chest I felt like I wanted and kind of needed to talk about, which in the description y'all can see is how some doctors and nurses treat us with conversion disorder and or PNES, whichever one you want to call it, because it's called different things now in different locations depending on where you're at. Here in Georgia, where I'm at, they still call it PNES for the most part, but they're moving over to conversion disorder. So, some of y'all though, some of you nurses and doctors, this one is going to be for you, and I can tell you right now, you're not going to like it at all. If it does not apply to you, then you should have nothing to worry about, or nothing to be concerned about. But even from my own personal experience, as well as others that I've heard that go through this condition, we have to go to the doctor quite a bit, and that's not really our fault. But I mean, I get it. Some doctors, they get really aggravated when you have to see them all the time, which is totally understandable. I would get upset too. I'd be like, hey, chick, you're in here all the time. I already said I can't help you out, but they're not allowed to deny medical help to anybody because they're the hospital. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. But I'm just going to share my experience with the closest hospital here in Rossville, which is CHI Memorial. And it has been one of the worst experiences here. And they do it all the time to the point where now when I have an emergency, I get scared to go there, and I even ask everybody to take me 20 minutes down the road to the next hospital. And for an emergency, that's pretty crazy because that's 20 minutes away. The closest hospital, which was the one I had problems with, that one's only like maybe 5 minutes away. So if it was life-threatening like that, where I go to stop breathing, there's really no time to wait 20 minutes to go to a hospital when there's one right down the road. Instead, when I have a PNES moment and I go in there, they will leave me in my urine the whole entire time that I'm there, even when I tell them, hey, I accidentally wet myself. They'll sit there, they will laugh at me, they will mock me, they will leave me in my urine 3 to 4 hours at a time, which is, everybody knows that's very unhealthy. Women especially, you can get UTIs and infections that way. You're not supposed to leave people in their urine. There's reasons why we don't pee ourselves, you know what I mean? But no, instead, they don't care. You can tell them 100 times, they won't help me clean me up or nothing. They'll just look at me like I'm retarded or something, like, oh, well, you said you wet yourself. Are you sure? Are you sure you did that? Pretty positive I did. And when it comes to walking and you let them know, like, hey, I can't feel something, there's been a time where a doctor has actually slapped me in the face and left a red handprint on my face because that's their way of seeing if you're lying or not. And honestly, you guys, that's pretty shitty. And you're not supposed to do that. That doctor actually almost got sued, and he was told that he was no longer allowed to deal with me for that reason. Like some of them will break tongue dispensers in half and they will shove them in your foot. Oh, you couldn't feel that, could you? Oh, yeah, you're right, because I wasn't lying. I told you that to begin with. You guys, just because you have conversion disorder does not mean you're lying at all. It just means that you're not having an epileptic episode. It means that none of your brain waves are actually, no, there is no misfiring up there. There's still seizures happening. There's still stuff that is going on physically and emotionally, but it just comes down to there's no misfires in the brain. It comes down to more emotional, and your emotional state is to the point where it comes out physically. And not all of the doctors and nurses are like this, you guys, but from my experience there has been many that have been like this, and I understand that some just have lack of knowledge of these kind of things because there's still lack of knowledge about regular epileptic seizures. And for those that don't know, I have both. And also, those that don't know, PNES kind of acts just the same, except you are more aware, kind of. And not even that. Sometimes you can be not aware. Sometimes you can be just simple stuff like that, you guys. It doesn't mean that you're faking anything or stuff like that, but some doctors, they read the definition, the medical term of pseudo means not real, which means non-real epileptic seizures. They're not real epileptic. That doesn't mean that they're not real seizures. It just means they're not real epileptic. But some doctors, they don't read the definition like that. They see it as false. That person is faking this. They're not actually having seizures. That's not the case at all. It is just more. One is more emotional, brought out into physical. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. And then the epileptic side is more of just the physical. And even then, you guys, sometimes it's more of the emotional as well, which I have problems with both on both sides. Hello, how are you? But it really bothers me how some doctors treat patients like this. Like I understand, I guess, that there are some people that go for attention, but when you are diagnosed with this condition, it's not like we want to go and get stabbed all the time, or we want to have to go and be accused of stuff all the time. That's not the attention we want. I don't know about everybody else, but that's sure not the attention that I want. And I get plenty of attention from home. I don't need all that attention. That's not the kind of stuff I want in my life. There has even been times where they have kept my old man out of the hospital room until they got done laughing and mocking at me and doing absolutely nothing. And this was actually just last year, I believe. I gave permission for him to start filming me every time I go to that hospital now. which they say it's not allowed to, that he's not allowed to film me, but I give full permission, and if I need to, I'll give written permission. Because if there's a reason whatsoever that I have a emergency like that where I have to go to the one close by, I can't just wait a few more minutes for them to stop my seizures. Like, I stop breathing, I absolutely need this one, or I cut my leg open and I absolutely have to go to this one, I want it recorded. It's just as simple as that goes. And it's nothing against any of my nurses or doctors that are on here at all. There is just some of you that lack the knowledge out on it, and you make us feel bad for things that we can't help. And I really think that that's kind of shitty. And even my counselor had said the same thing when I went and spoke to her. Excuse me. Shouldn't say shitty, of course. But she basically said the same thing without the curse words. And it really amazes me how even some of our nurses and doctors can even have seizures and still talk about others that have seizures as if we aren't real. We're not. No, you're not having what you're having. I mean, how can you tell me that when I'm the one feeling it? You're not. I mean, when my leg goes numb or stuff like that, they don't know that. The only thing that they know is they can see I'm walking on it. They can't see that it's numb. So their response is to stick me in the leg with stuff, which is totally fine also. That's their job. But there's ways to do that besides just, breaking a tongue dispenser in half and just shoving it in your leg. There's a right way and a wrong way. I appreciate it, but yes, they are out, and I don't ever put them in unless if I see reason to. That has nothing to do with this video, though. Please don't interrupt me, guys, while I'm on topic. I do appreciate it, though. I understand where you're coming from. And that's another thing, you guys, about my teeth. Yeah, I don't have those anymore either. That is pretty obvious that I do not. And I wish that people would not interrupt me when I am in topics and trying to talk about certain things, because it really interrupts me and it messes with my flow of things, which is really what's going on now, because now I'm in a mood. I understand you don't want people talking about you. Put your teeth in. Gotcha. However, my point is it shouldn't matter at all, unless if it has something to do with my topic that we're talking about. If it has something to do with my teeth, then I would totally understand. And I also understand that attractiveness is also a part of the live world and stuff like that too. And I don't find myself unattractive without my teeth either. Not sorry for saying that either. I have confidence in myself, and it doesn't bother me. My teeth, then I would totally understand. I mean, I know, I understand it bothers some people. It doesn't bother me anymore. Honestly, I have been without my teeth for almost 2 years now, so it's completely normal for me without them. And I'm sorry if I sounded rude a few minutes ago about me not having them in. It just bothers me when people mention them. I'm just not used to having them in anymore, you guys, so it just feels normal to me now not to have them. And plus, we also wear masks on our face now, like all year. So I haven't found the reason to put my teeth in. I understand on live, y'all can see my face, y'all can see my mouth area. However, I don't feel like that really throws me off any, except there's kind of some lisp going on and stuff like that. And if it's got to do with stuff about y'all not being able to understand me on certain words, please say something so that I understand. And if that's the issue, then I can start putting my teeth in to help with that. But I just need to know more of why. I mean, why do you say that? Is it a traction thing? Is it just because the normal human response you're supposed to have teeth? I mean, I would just like to understand is where I'm getting at. Because I do understand that not everyone tries to be douchey about it. They just, that's just their normal too. So I just want to be made understood so that I am not douchey in return. It's usually inert, but if it spreads to the atmosphere and nucleates, any kind of ignition will cause. But I'm kind of leaning off topic here, you guys. I'm sorry. So we're gonna try to squeeze back into where I was trying to go. Thanks. I do still feel very uncomfortable with the nearest hospital, which is CHI Memorial in Rossville, not in Chattanooga. They actually do me very well in Chattanooga. Thankfully, I haven't had to go since I think late November, I believe, maybe early October. One of those two. I think it was like since late November.
November was last month.
Oh, not November. Sorry, guys. September. So I think it's been going on like about 3 months now. I still have been having some episodes, but just where we can control them at home. And some of you may ask what's changed, and that would be that I am using tincture now. So maybe that could be one of the things that are helping me
Mary
the most.
Dragon drops.
Yeah, Mary Jane's Dragon Drops. It is pretty strong on alcohol though. The alcohol flavor though, guys, but it works well. Yesterday I was having what most people call a tick attack, and it sounds exactly like it is. Basically, where I'm constantly ticking. And yesterday I think it was like 2 drops, and I held it up under my tongue until it stopped burning, and then I finally swallowed it. And then I think maybe about maybe not even 5 minutes later, it all started to kind of settle down. Even my anxiety finally started opening up and started to relax and stuff like that too. Um, I do go back to my neurologist here next month. So probably about, I think about actually like 3.5 more weeks or something like that. And he's supposed to send me to a movement specialist, and my counseling doctor wants this done as well. So I think it's going to be that's on one of the next steps. Because as I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, I have been having more issues with my leg. Not quite severe enough like it did to me last year where I had to use my walker, but it's gotten almost to that point a couple of times here in like, I think here like last month it got almost to that point. I know that my neurologist even told me that he prefers that I use it on walks and stuff like that. That way I can be more independent. But really, I don't find that it helps me to be more independent, you guys. It makes me more tired. It makes my hands hurt, my arms hurt. I don't have the arm strength to be able to pull myself around like that. And then I feel like it will kind of trap my brain into, I need that crutch now. Like, yeah, sure, right now there's parts of my leg that I can't really feel, like kind of up here in my thigh area is where it's harder to feel, like above my kneecap. And there's like an area right here in the middle of my shin, but I can move it. I can walk on it. There's no issues there. A little bit of stumbling over my feet today that I've noticed, but nothing severe where I feel like I'm going to fall down. And if I do, in a single wide trailer, so I feel like I got enough option to where I'm able to go ahead and sit down before that were to happen. Even if it's just in the floor, if I get to that point now, I'm just like, okay, I need to sit down. And even some people will be like, what are you doing? I even did it the last time I was in the hospital, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I got to a point I couldn't feel my leg, and I was beginning to fall. So didn't really have no help. So only thing I could think of is go ahead and sit on the floor before I fall. I've broken this wrist like 3 or 4 times now, I believe, due to my seizures. And not even my epileptic seizures, but also my PNES episodes. So that's also why it's important, you guys, because you can still get hurt during these episodes. It's not that that's why I don't see why some doctors and nurses would mock someone because of that, because of something that they can't control, like they're not smart. I was trying to find a good word to say there, and I think I said it right. And if they just they just belittle you about it, and then why do y'all treat people like that? I mean, you don't do it to old people who have Alzheimer's, do you? Because that's, to me, that's kind of in the same area. It's not the same. So please don't dislike me. I'm not saying that it is the same. I'm just saying mentally kind of in the same area. Except it's not Alzheimer's. It's not at all like it, but it is the same. And I think some people will understand what I'm saying. I hope. If not, please let me know and I will re-explain to where y'all can understand me properly. Do they even do I think they even do pressure points and chest rubs still. I don't know if they still do that in some hospitals, but I think they do it to see if you're aware or try to wake you up or something like that. And basically what they do is, so that y'all can see me up here, is they take their knuckles in the middle of your chest, right here, so that y'all can see in the middle of your chest, which would be between your breast for the ladies, for the men, between your nipple area. And then they kind of rub a little bit hard. I've even had where they kind of bruise me up a little bit right there. I don't really think they do it to hurt you and stuff like that. It's just where they try to get your response and stuff. Another one they do is right here behind the ear, because that is just a good pressure point. It'll get your attention. I think another one that they've used is, where was it? Can't really remember, you guys, so I'm not really gonna share it because I can't really share it. Sharing the pressure points that I use right now. I already shared like the chest rub and the behind the ear. Oh, and there's one on the arm right here somewhere. Yeah, like, yeah, there it is, right there.
There's one right here in your jaw.
Yeah, and I think they've only used that one on me once, which is right here on the jaw. But the doctors that treat me well actually rub my temples. Not very hard, but kind of like they would do in your pressure point, kind of. Just hard enough, not hard enough to bruise you. And then they'll gently rub, and that will help to calm me down. Because sometimes when you do pressure points on people with conversion disorder, and some people don't understand, is you can actually make that person angry. And I don't mean that purposely they will hurt you, but they can. It's a very real, very possible thing. I think it was last year, actually, when I went onto the ventilator, I was fighting with them. And even they knew 100%, I had no control over that. It's just a reaction that my brain had at the time. And yes, it was a PNES episode as well. It wasn't even an epileptic episode. But I have stayed in that state of mind for so long that my brain wasn't able to shut it off at that time. So basically, I was suffering, and they turned my brain off for a couple of days. And it actually took me almost a week after that to fully recover. And that's what some people don't understand about this condition is it can actually get pretty serious. Some people like on TikTok, I see that they have jokes about it, and it's not funny, guys. Just like with people with Tourette's and stuff like that stuff isn't funny. Like like I saw someone on Facebook who every time he done something like dipped his finger or something like that, he said it first, like dip and stuff like that. You guys, I mean, it's not really funny. It may look funny to us, but it's not funny to them. They go through this on a daily basis, all the time, all throughout the day, not just one time and then they're done. It's constantly for them. So I mean, sure, I'm sure you see some of them joking around about it, like even with my ticks and stuff like that. I even joke around about mine sometimes. Like, I think it was like last month or something like that, I had a verbal tick where I had said, shut your face quite a bit. And it would just be out of nowhere. Like, that one I thought I could laugh about. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. I mean, but people with Tourette's, they, it's a lot more for them. And even because you see them laughing about it, I don't even really think that they find it funny a lot of the times. It's just you have to have a sense of humor with some of this stuff because if not, it will mess you up. Um, I don't mean to some people's extremes where they will mock people and laugh at them about these things, but laughing with somebody, I think, is something totally different. And I don't know why we have all decided to go back to high school because I thought that we all got out of high school like years ago for most of us. I mean, I know I've been out of high school for at least, oh geez, for quite a while. Quite a while, you guys. I'm 26 now. I stopped going to high school 18, so I'll leave y'all to do the math. I don't feel like doing all that. All right, you guys, I'm starting to go more off the topic once again. So before I start doing so, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. And thank you for joining me, everybody who has. I will try to keep y'all updated on everything. Let's see. The next thing I have coming up is Christmas. We're not really going to do anything. I may do a live then. I may not. We'll see how it goes. The 29th, we'll have my birthday. Not sure what we'll be doing then. Probably the same thing. It's on a weekday also, as well in between two holidays. So probably going to be doing the same thing we're doing today. But I may do a video. I do plan on doing some pictures. So I may take out with me on that, like for a few minutes or something like that. Because I can't really shoot you guys on live and be in pictures at the same time. I mean, I can, but not without my phone in my hand. And y'all know that's not really decent pictures. At least not for the kind of family pictures I'm wanting to get for my mother. Let's see what's after the 29th. New Year's. Probably not gonna do anything for New Year's either. COVID's been going around pretty bad here, so there's not gonna be no partying, no hanging out with nobody. We don't really party anyway, but for sure no partying this year, even if we wanted to. Uh, and then we got the 20th in January, which is my old man's birthday, as well as my doctor's appointment. So,
Election day too.
and
New
what?
president.
Oh, and the new president day too. So we can talk about that then. We'll have several more sessions that we'll be able to do. It really honestly depends on how I'm feeling at the time. This year, I haven't quite been feeling so terrible, but I'm pretty sure she's about to switch my meds up here on the 28th because I'm going to ask her to. The Effexor and the Buspar just really has not been my match. It has helped my tics to a degree to where they're not as severe and noticeable. I do still have them, like I'll have some of the head switches and stuff like that, and some blinking, sometimes dipping my finger and stuff like that, but nothing really noticeable. However, I don't like the way mentally and physically it's making me feel like a roller coaster. So she said she had a long list we could try. So this first one, no big deal. We're going to cross these two off the list because I don't think they're my match. They haven't been the worst, but if there's always better, we want better, right? So to be able to get back on track, I think so. But all right, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and cut you off now.